For those of you familiar with Norman Beck's Panther Primer series with the men's hockey team here at UPEI, we felt that it was now time to try something new with the women's hockey program and taking a deep dive into what makes it successful each and every day and every season. For this first historic episode, we are choosing none other than a hometown hero, the 15th captain in team history. Please welcome, from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, Chloe McCabe. All right, Chloe, while we're making history here, all the people watching, I'm sure, know about Panther Primer that Norman Beck does with the men's team, but making history, we're now going to try to dive into the female side of the UPI Panthers and between the women's and men's hockey programs here. And I was trying to figure out who I would get on for the first episode, and my gut said Caper, Captain Chloe McCabe. So welcome on board. Thank you for being the first guest.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Obviously, coming out of the holiday break, first game back at it in the second semester tomorrow night in St. FX. But first off, how was your holiday break?
Holiday was awesome. I'm from Charlottetown, PEI, but still getting time to spend with family and friends, and just having a break from hockey in general is super important. Yeah. So it was awesome.
Anything hockey related? Anything with the team to kind of add on some bonding activities at all?
Well, all the girls went home to their provinces on their break, and I think it's essential that we get a break from each other because our team is so close. So jumping back in, we all got to see each other a little bit of a reunited type of way, so it's good. Yeah,
absolutely. As you said, from Charlottetown, you're a local gal. You come from a hockey family. The McCabe name is very familiar within UPI Panthers. There's you, Cassidy McCabe, played back in the mid 2010s, and then there was cousin Tanner McCabe as well. Scott, your father, former Charlottetown Abbey's Junior A captain, was a coach at one point for Cassidy as well. Just take me through some of your family members and some of their contributions to the Panthers and how you've built off their impacts.
Yeah, so my father coached me and all my sisters growing up, and he also played with the Charlottetown Abbeys where Forby Kennedy coached him, so he had an NHLer coaching him, so he has a lot of experience from that. And then my sister played for UPEI there for a couple years, and then my cousin played for the men's team. So that was a huge decision for me to kind of stay with this program and come here. I learned a lot from them growing up, and I just wanted to stay in my hometown and represent the province and the program that gave so much to me, because I used to watch them growing up, and that's all I ever wanted to be.
Yeah, and growing up in the Central Storm program throughout PI minor hockey, on Panther Primer, people have all heard about the stories of the men that have gone through the male side of minor hockey here on Prince Edward Island, but let's get a perspective from the female side and what it was like growing up in minor hockey as a female.
As a female growing up, so I played minor hockey my whole life for the Central Storm there, and we just played against each other on the island. So that was good. I made a lot of friendships along the way. But now there's the major midget league. So the girls in the Central Storm, or I guess it would be the Eastern Stars now, get to travel off island. So there's a lot more scouting opportunities for them and stuff like that. Whereas whenever I was growing up, there wasn't as many because you're just playing within the island. The scouting isn't as good. So I think it's progressed a lot since whenever I played. But growing up, it was awesome. I played in my hometown with all my friends to this day, so it was great.
And in those days, do you have any favorite memories in particular, maybe Panthers-wise, watching Cassidy and Tanner growing up, being around Scott as well? Anything come to mind?
So whenever my sister played, my dad actually coached for a year there, and I was just a little girl, and I used to be one of those kids in the tunnel that wanted a fist bump from all the girls. And so now whenever I'm playing here and I'm fist bumping the girls, it really brings me back to those days. And at first you might think that it's not really a big deal, like there's just kids in the tunnel, but I was one of those girls, and I know how important that was for me in my journey. So yeah, it's essential.
Yeah, you actually beat me to it, because I was going to bring up that the last home game here against Mount Allison, a big victory to end off the first semester. Being down there, it's almost as if you're kind of with your younger self in a way. You're wearing the C patch, you're the captain of the Panthers, and you're signing all the autographs, you're seeing all the smiles on the kids' faces. Like, that used to be you one day, so that must have been pretty special.
No, absolutely. And that's why I understand the importance of doing things like that. Like we went out there and we signed autographs, and I was out there for a long time taking photos with the girls. And there is a photo whenever Maggie Grimmer played, and I'm in that tunnel right down there. And I have, it's me putting my fist out to fist bump her, and now she's my coach. So that's a really historic photo. It's an awesome photo.
All came full circle.
Yeah, it did.
Absolutely did. Along the way in your minor hockey career, you played at the Canada Winter Games in 2019 in Red Deer, Alberta. I mean, you got to play with names like Sarah McCacker, and you see how far she's gone now at Cornell University, representing Hockey Canada as well. Lexi Murphy in there, Carly Thompson, some familiar UPI Panthers names. Obviously a big difference at that time in that age group, representing your hometown with the Central Storm, and then there's representing your home province. I mean, technically you are now, since the Panthers are the PEI team of the AOS, but at that time period, what was that difference like, going from representing your hometown to representing all of Prince Edward Island at that age?
Yes, so in my minor hockey, you're just playing against teams here and then like some tournaments away and stuff like that. But then I was a double underager with the Canada Games team, so getting to be on that team with such elite players and going away to play against some of the best in all the provinces, like playing with Sarah McCacker and Lexi Murphy, and then even playing against players that are now playing in the PWHL, like Abby Newhook on Team Newfoundland. Like it was an awesome experience, and like really was the first experience where it was like an ultra competitive environment for me.
Yeah. Playing, Canada Winter Games like that, how did it possibly open the door for you along the way throughout the rest of your minor hockey career?
Yeah, so it was like the first time where I was like, like I made that team double underage. I was like, oh, maybe I can do this, and maybe there is a future in this. So that was probably the first time where I was like, I really like the competitiveness of this league or this tournament that we're in right now, and I would like to take this further. So that was probably a huge window for me, and even making it double underage at that age, like on that team. So yeah.
Absolutely, and I mean, you had yourself some pretty good years at the very end of your minor hockey journey. You were also named Hockey PEI Female Player of the Year in 2021. So, that award, whenever you got that, was that a surprise to you necessarily, or not at all? Or what did it mean to achieve such an accolade?
Well, I had a good season in my last year, but it was a surprise to me whenever I got the nomination and I won that award. So that was a huge thing for me, and it was a reason that I decided to even take it further at the next level with the UPI Panthers. So getting that award kind of gave me a lot of confidence to maybe pursue this further.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we were talking about this earlier. I was trying to get a bit of context on how you got involved and how you committed and everything. You started off as a redshirt player in the 21-22 season. You want to again describe that process again, like we talked about earlier, and how you got involved from the start?
Yes, so I reached out. I only reached out to the UPI Panthers. As everyone knows, I am a homebody. This is the program that I wanted to come to, and if I didn't end up on the UPI Panthers, I might not have been playing hockey. So I reached out. The roster was full. We had a huge roster that year, but I was told that I can come on and redshirt and practice for the season, and so that's what I did. Yeah. And then moving on into the next season, we got a new coach. So he came in, and then that season I sat out like the first, I think it was 8 games, and played like a more minimal role. Yeah. And then my third year, I started stepping up a little bit more, had a lot more confidence, played a more crucial role with the team. And then in my fourth year, I ended up being named captain that year. So when you look back at the difference between my first and fourth year, you can see I've come a long way, and I do take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah. And in that first year where you were not eligible to play, but you were still able to practice with the team and hang around all those other players, was there any point during those times where you did, you wish you were out there, or did you take advantage of that time to, get familiar with the program and the people involved in it, and, just trying to make sure you were ready, for down the road to prove yourself again?
Yeah, like it's extremely difficult. Like you practice, I still practiced every day, I still worked out every day, like put in all the work, but then you don't play any games, which is what every athlete wants to do, is play the games, right? So that was extremely difficult mentally for me. Yeah. And then you're kind of like, what do I do here? I sat out this whole year, what's the next year going to look like for me? So it's kind of like a mindset thing where you have to be like, am I going to accept my fate and maybe walk away from this program, or am I going to change my fate? So I decided to change my fate, and I worked extremely hard in the gym, on the ice, and then eventually, whenever I got my opportunity, I did everything I could to try and make sure that, coaches can't take you out. Do the small things like playing simple, driving the net, short shifts, stuff like that. Yeah. And eventually it worked out for me, and gained a bit more confidence and worked my way up to be more of an impact player.
That first game in 22-23, do you have any vivid, fond memories of that game? And whenever you first stepped out onto the ice as an eligible player in that Panthers jersey, did it hit you that you had finally accomplished your dream? Like, do you vividly remember that?
I do a bit. Yeah, I was super nervous. Like, I had a lot of emotions because I was very excited, but I had so many nerves at the same time. And I remember walking out there, and I was super proud to wear that Panther jersey. But I just focused on every shift. I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to do what I have to do, like my ABCs. I'm going to do what I'm good at. I'm going to work hard, short shifts, drive the net, just not overcomplicate anything, because that's not the role that I was in at that point. So I just tried to focus on every shift and not kind of get in my head too much. So yeah, I do remember it though. It was very exhilarating.
Yeah, kind of a mix of emotions.
A mix of emotions, for sure.
Absolutely. And, a strong year for the team. You had a couple of points, a couple of goals across 21 games. 17-8-1-2 is your record, 4th in the conference. You defeated Dalhousie in the quarters, and then you gave the top-ranked UNB Reds a bit of a scare in that around, a victory over there in their barn. Do you recall that at all? How'd that feel? A
little bit, yeah. So we defeated Dalhousie, which was awesome, and then we were going to face the UNB Reds, which are an apex predator. Absolutely. And I remember we were playing at the APM Center because the playoffs, our arena wasn't able to be played in, and I just remember the atmosphere at the APM was incredible. It's just a smaller barn. I think it echoes in there, so it was really awesome to take a game off them too. I think we gave them a little bit of a run for their money that year and kind of proved ourselves as Panthers that year.
And so the next 2 seasons come around. Of course, you did miss the playoffs back-to-back. It was the team's first time not making it into the postseason since 2016. So definitely not ideal. There were a lot of one-goal games, a lot of results that definitely could have gone, either way. I still personally vividly remember that game against St. Thomas at the end of last season, that final game at home, and just, you guys being up 2-0, and then that quick turnaround at the very end. That must have been very tough.
It was absolutely a heartbreaker. Yeah. And sometimes that happens, but you just have to learn from those experiences. And sometimes I think whenever you do miss the playoffs, you remember those feelings for the next season. That's kind of a little bit of a fire. You're like, I don't want this to happen again because I know how it feels, and it almost makes you work a little bit harder, probably.
Yeah. And of course, you being as captain, was there at that time a message that you may have sent around the locker room? Because again, missing back-to-back is rough, but it only makes you more hungry and determined to come back and do better, as has been proven this season. But as captain, was there a message sent?
I think everyone felt a little bit defeated after that. But as a captain, you can't really stay defeated too long. You have to kind of rise above and step up. So basically the message was, we're going to learn from this, and we're going to work really hard the next year, and we're going to make sure that maybe this shouldn't happen in the future. And the message probably is that we can't wait too long to make a push, because we needed the second half, and we needed to win a lot of games in the second half. And so I think a message would be like, we got to start earlier. We got to start in October.
So on a more positive note, being named the 15th captain in UPI Panthers women's hockey history back in 24-25, from accomplishing your dream of becoming a Panther to then finally earning the C patch on your jersey and making history there, again, as I said, the 15th captain ever. Do you recall whenever you were named captain, was it a surprise at all?
Yeah, it was. I just remember in that year he came in the room and I didn't expect it at all. And then he announced me as the captain, and I had, again, another mix of emotions going on, a lot of excitement. I was joyful, and then I had a lot of nerves as well there. And it was a huge moment for me. Like, it was just felt so good to be the captain, and maybe especially with my journey and how it went from looking back from my first year to my 4th year. And it was kind of like an I made it moment with the UPI Panthers. So yeah, it's been a great experience, and it's a great experience to be relied upon by your teammates and for them to look up to you and stuff. So it's awesome.
And to get it from a guy like Sean Fisher, I mean, he stepped into the program at the same time you did, and he was the one to give you that opportunity to earn your way on. And I mean, look where we're at now. I mean, it was basically a full circle moment, but for all the positive stuff that he has said about you, and the reason why that he and the rest of the coaching staff, the other leaders and veterans decided that you were the right choice. I mean, to have had their back and their support heading into this captain chapter, just talk about that effect on you and what it all meant.
Yeah, so Sean first gave me the opportunity on the ice to prove what I can do. So it felt really special coming from him and coming from the coaching staff. And I take a lot of pride in the fact that they thought highly enough of me to make me the captain and believed in me and stuff like that. So no, it was awesome.
You once said before that you learned a lot from former captain teammate Lexi Murphy. What of her leadership style did you possibly take off of her, and how have you maybe applied it nowadays? Is there anything maybe different perhaps?
I'd say me and Lexi, so we played together I grew up in the same league as her, and then I played on the Canada Winter Games with her as well. And then she was my captain at UPEI, so we've had a lot of time together, and I think I learned a lot from her. She was a role model for me growing up, even though she's only a few years younger than me, but I really love the way that she plays. She's a 200-foot player. She's one of the most grittiest players I've ever played with. I played on her line too for a couple years, and one of the most passionate leaders as well, and she leads by example, and I think I kind of followed in her footsteps, as my main leadership style is also leading by example. So I did learn a lot from her, and I owe her a lot for the qualities that I have as a leader.
Indeed. And now we're here today. Second semester is just about to approach for your fourth year, and you said that it's kind of on the fence of maybe graduating, maybe not?
Yes, so I will graduate this year.
Yeah.
But there is a question about a 6-year return, and that is depending on school reasons, but I am looking to come back. I feel like my business might not be finished here. I'm not sure if I'm ready to give it up, but that is in question, and I would like to probably return.
Yeah. I mean, you still have quite a lot of business to do, as I said, with the second semester about to get underway tomorrow night, and a big home game stretch coming up as well. It's one of those seasons where if you go on the bad stretch, you could be out of playoff contention. If you go on a really good stretch, you're in the championship conversation with teams like St. FX and UMB, and you guys have beaten them a couple of times even. I mean, the home opener here, you shut them out. So I mean, just take us through all the success that has been the first semester here of this year, and talk about the progress that has made between this season and especially since your arrival for yourself personally.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had a lot of success in the first half, and I think whenever I think about why, it kind of comes down to, I think about the culture. So the first day that I walked in, me and the seniors were talking, we said, something's different, something's very special, and since day one our culture has been excellent. And one thing about that is I think that followed us onto the ice. So that's a huge part of it. And then another thing is that I think I guess you could say, identified our identity pretty early on. So as a team, we are fast, we're fit, we're simple, and we're smart. And when we play like that, we have a lot of success, which you've seen in the first half. So I think those have led to our success in the first half, as well as we had a tremendous amount of contributions from all 4 lines, which helps with team dynamic and stuff like that. Everyone has a role. So I think we're very interconnected, this team. So
I think it might be a safe assumption that your most memorable highlight thus far, I don't know if that would be for this season or your entire run as a Panther thus far, that game against Dalhousie in November. You went 13 games with 6 assists but 0 goals, and then you go to overtime, tied 1-1 against Dalhousie, and then you threw yourself into the highlight reels. Was that one of those plays where you really had time to think about it, or you just full send it?
So that game was a tough game. Our whole roster played exceptionally well. We had 56, I think, shots on the goalie with only 1 goal. So we were running into a hot goalie situation. And then in overtime, I was like, how am I going to beat this goalie type of thing? And I think in those situations, you kind of black out, but I was like, I might have to deke this goalie. We got to beat her somehow. That was an exhilarating moment for me, especially just not having a goal in the previous games and stuff like that, I guess that's a good way to start.
Yeah. Indeed, and going into the second half for yourself personally, we've already talked about this whole team culture thing and the bonding and all of that, and the confidence of the group going into the second semester and leading to the push of the playoffs come February. But for yourself personally, where would you say you're currently at, and how confident are you going into whether it might be your final half or not? Again, we'll see on that, but where are you at? Where's your confidence level at? How ready are you to go into this second half?
Extremely ready. I think that no one should ever be completely satisfied with themselves. I think there's always room to grow. So I guess goals for me personally, I would like to drive more offense in the second half and contribute that way. I would probably like to continue to grow on my leadership skills in that way. And then ultimately, I know it's a team goal, but I would like to wear a white hat at the end of the season. I think everyone should have that in the back of their mind, and I think that should be everyone's ultimate goal. And
so very last question, you guys have put together a fundraiser as of recently, just put out something on social media. Do you want to discuss that?
Yeah, so we launched this fundraiser. It's called the Vertical Raise fundraiser. And basically, we send out emails and text messages, and we have a video on our social media. It's posted in different areas. And you can click on that, and it brings you to buy a coupon book. And then from there, you can choose to donate as much as you would like to the program. And one thing about this fundraiser is that it goes directly back to us, the girls on the team. It's not going anywhere external like that, so directly to us. So it has a few more weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I just looked at it this morning. You're already past like halfway.
Yeah, no, we're doing very well, and we're continuing to promote it. So we'll see how far we get. We have an $8,000 goal right now, and we are over halfway, so that's awesome.
And certainly looking forward to how much more far that you guys can go throughout this upcoming second half, again starting tomorrow night with a visit to Antigonish, Nova Scotia, take on one of the top-ranked teams in St. FX. So, Chloe, again, thank you very much for taking the time to come on as the very first guest, making history here. This kind of a, women's hockey version of a Panther primer in a way. Again, the rest of the way, best of luck. Thank you for taking the time, and see what happens.
Thank you so much.